Hello everyone, Nintendo Gen 64 is here, and I am joined by Mr. Fraser Films
Fromond.
2009, or Fromond, yes, and we're doing
2009.
Old London Town, which is from the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Which is maybe the best Muppet movie of any Muppet movie to exist, and perhaps the best adaptation of A Christmas Carol to exist.
Yeah, you left us at the end of the last part. You were gonna go on to. Let's play as Beaker in the Moon Buggy. We haven't been him yet.
Nice.
Yeah, you were in the last part. You were left telling us why this was your favorite Muppets film, and so I guess we can get into that today. We can get into all the discussions of this movie, because I too really love Muppet Christmas Carol. I will say that I think it was probably one of the earliest adaptations of A Christmas Carol I ever saw, actually.
I think it was for me as well. Like, I didn't know it was based off a Charles Dickens book until, like, an adult, or, like, when I was a teenager. But every time, like, I see posts about this on Twitter every year for Christmas about how this is the best adaptation of A Christmas Carol, and I've checked out a few others, and I have to kind of agree that it really is. It just... the mood, the atmosphere, the characters, the drama, it's all there.
Yeah, and of course, Michael Caine is in it as Scrooge, right?
Yes.
He gives an excellent performance. He's so good at playing off the Muppets that you actually believe that they're real people.
I think he literally said somewhere, like, he said to the director or something, which is Jim Henson's son, he was like, I'm going to play this character, like, as dead as a doornail, like, as serious as possible. I'm going to act as if I'm not acting with Muppets. And it shows, and it makes the movie even more perfect.
Oh, yeah, it's tremendous. And, like, Kermit is very sympathetic as not Tiny Tim. What's the guy's name? Jim... What's his name? What's the guy? The main guy.
Yeah, the guy who works for Scrooge at the start of the movie. Yeah,
he's very sympathetic.
It's actually, that's the kind of thing I find most interesting about the film. The Muppets play very dramatic portrayals. It's really good. And this is such an interesting thing to see in a Muppet movie, but there's a bit, like, towards the end of the film where, like, the god of death, or the ghost of Christmas future or whatever comes
which
and
is
shows them.
That's Sweetums, isn't it?
Yeah.
The big hairy guy.
I think so. Well, it's basically, like, towards the end, and, like, basically Gonzo and Rizzo actually, like, they just leave the movie for a hot minute so they could have, like, a proper dramatic moment. I found that interestingly restrained for, like, a Muppet movie. They're just like, yeah, we're gonna get rid of all the comedy now because this is a very serious moment, and we'll be back for comedy later. And
you know, it's an interesting thing with the Muppets. Like, they actually, a lot of their films surprisingly have these real dramatic turns of, like, you know, the third act, the struggle that they have to go through. Oh, okay, I came fourth. That's okay, I already won the race. I'm just doing that for performative reasons. We're actually going to do the adventure mode. And I did this just so I could unlock a few cars for Beaker. Let's do the monster truck, why not? Yeah, but as I was saying, the, like, you saw the 2011 Muppets film, right?
I actually never had a chance to see that one. Like, it was on my list and radar at the time. I was going through a huge Muppet phase in 2011 where I was, like, watching the Muppet Show. I was watching heaps of episodes. I was watching every movie. And I was, like, so keen for the 2011 one, and I wanted to see it in cinemas. And I never did, so I never saw the movie ever.
Really? Because it's one of the... It's a legitimately good film, and it's... You know what's funny, actually, is I've been watching a lot of, like, video essays on the Star Wars sequels right now, like, because I don't know, it's been a couple of years since the dust has settled, and I just kind of, it's fun to think about, like, how terrible those were. But the Muppets sequels, or the later Muppet films that came out in, like, 2011, 2014, especially the 2011 one, is a really good critique on nostalgia.
Interesting.
It's a really, it's quite a good film, actually. It's about, like, you know, fitting into society. Are you a man or a Muppet? I remember, yeah, I quite liked it. It was, like, on my top 10 films of 2011 list, I think.
What was your main takeaway from the video essay you saw?
About Star Wars?
About
Muppets. No, I didn't watch any Muppet video essays.
I think it's interesting because I was just watching earlier today the third episode of the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh,
so
yes.
Some of the new Star Wars TV shows, and at the moment the Book of Boba is a bit controversial because a lot of people had their projected image of who they thought Boba Fett was, and now that he's actually got an identity and a character now, people are really pissed off.
By the way, I just want to say, this is the first time this has happened in this Let's Play where I accidentally ran into the movie clip and I just collected the movie.
fair, it's kind of hiding in a little bit of a corner there.
I
Oops.
forgot it was there, so I'm gonna have to do this whole fruit collecting thing again. But that's okay. We're having a good time. We have a good time. Yeah. So tell me about the Book of Boba Fett. I guess by the time this part comes out, maybe Book of Boba Fett episode 3 would be dropped. I'm sure.
I'm really enjoying it. Like, I think it's like the first episode was kind of a bit slow and dainty, but the second episode was like probably some of the best Star Wars I've seen since like even like the Clone Wars and all that kind of stuff.
The Clone Wars TV show, right?
Yeah, the Clone Wars TV show had some pretty solid Star Wars stuff, but the Book of Boba just sort of takes the cake in terms of being like good content. And I think Tamora Morrison is just a great actor, and I'm so glad to sort of see him back in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, he's one of like the real like shining lights from the prequels, isn't he?
I honestly, yeah, like I feel like that this is a theory, and for all I know, it's happened. It's going to happen in the third episode or something. I think they're going to bring Mace Windu back. Honestly,
to life.
It's going to happen.
Oh no, Mace Windu
Yes.
is alive. Well, no, he died. He died though. He got thrown out the window.
He died in episode 3, but people keep like thinking he's going to be alive. And then Tamora Morrison in an interview, like I saw an interview with him recently, and he started talking about Mace Windu very briefly as if it was relevant.
Oh yeah.
So it just gives me this sort of hint that he knows more than we realize. Or maybe he just knows the character well enough to know that Mace Windu is actually pretty relevant there.
Well, it's been a long time since he's played Mace Windu, like 05, right? So, and when is Book of Boba Fett set? That's set in like 2000 and not 2000. It's like 20 years after the episode.
Book of Boba takes place like pretty much I'm not sure when, like, it kind of takes place in 2 different timelines. One half of it takes place immediately after the Sarlacc pit, and he, like, gets out, and then he gets captured by, like, Tusken Raiders and spends a lot of time with them for a bit. And then the other half is, like, sometime after, like, when Luke is, like, Darth Vader is all defeated and all the stuff that happened in The Mandalorian. So maybe, like, a couple of years after the Empire was abolished. And he is now the new Jabba the Hutt, basically.
What about Bib Fortuna? I thought Bib Fortuna was the new Jabba the Hutt.
He kills Bib Fortuna at the end of Mandalorian Season 2. Sorry for the spoilers.
Oh yeah,
No,
he
it's
does.
not-
No, it's
it's not
okay.
much
This
of a spoiler.
is all Disney cross promotion because Muppets is a
Yeah.
Disney property now, and Star Wars is also a Disney property.
Actually, I was reading about how like the reason they don't make Muppet stuff anymore is literally because Muppets Most Wanted didn't do well at the box office, which is very sad.
Oh yeah, didn't we talk? We talked about that in the last part, didn't we?
Yeah, we briefly did. Like, I think we were looking it up and we saw that it didn't make much, and it's like, yeah, no, basically confirmed.
I do like Muppets Most Wanted. I thought it was okay. Like it was not the worst, but I'm racking my head to figure out why Muppets movies are so damn expensive to make.
Yeah.
Like it's just a bunch of like are the Muppets performers like super well paid or something? I guess they gotta be
what I
pretty
wanna
good
know.
if they're gonna be like the Muppets. Like if you're playing Kermit or something, you gotta be pretty good.
It's like, I feel
Wait.
like,
Wait, hold on. I'm missing
Yeah.
one fruit. Are you shitting me?
I feel like that's the biggest problem with the fruit challenge. You can never find, if you're missing one fruit, it's over.
Like seriously, where is it?
Do they show up on the map at all?
No, they don't put it on the map. If I don't find this one fruit, I am fucked.
You got like half a minute. It's all good. We've got this.
Wait,
Is
is
it
that
in-
it? There it is! I got
Guys,
it! Oh, there we go. Food collected.
We did it.
That level, I
It's
swear to God, has like the most food of any level.
This level is actually surprisingly big.
Let's talk about this level, because this is meant to be Old London Town, which I guess is the primary location of the Muppet Christmas Carol.
And it's quite nice. It's got like a nice set of like every building. I can sort of see some reused buildings sort of thing, but like it feels like for the most part a very solid town, you know.
The thing with the because the Muppet films, like the first 3 of them are just like literally Muppet films, right? They're original stories created for the Muppets. So, like you've got the Muppets movie, the Muppets Caper, the Muppets Take Manhattan. So like it's kind of hard to have like themes, like very strong themes between all the levels. But in this game, for this movie, right, and this movie and Treasure Island, like they're all very much the same kind of theme. So like we're doing this one now, which is Old London Town, and then the next level after this is called Graveyard, and then there's the Chamber, which is where you fight the 2 guys, Marley and Marley, how the old men play the ghosts.
Ah, yes.
And then there's the rooftops as well, which is all like old London town themed. So it's kind of interesting how they just like have a good mix of like themed levels and then just levels for the film, levels that are set where the film is.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, I do too. It makes especially like having a mix of like because there's Muppet Treasure Island, right, which is based off the story Treasure Island, and then there's this, which is also based off the story. So it's interesting that Muppets take on these like sort of classical literature stories.
That's one of the things I keep saying this almost like yearly, but I feel like the Muppets has the most potential for book adaptations of anything, and I think one of the biggest things that disappoints me most is that there aren't more Muppet book adaptation movies. Like, because Muppet Treasure Island and Muppet Christmas Carol are like really good movies, and it's proof that the Muppets just sort of, it just works when you get creative with it. Like, a Muppet movie on its own is funny, but when you get the Muppets taking on classical literature, it's a mix that is just perfection.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing with the Muppets. You can literally put them anywhere, in any setting, and they tend to do pretty well. Like, they tend to just fit without having to, like, do too much mental arithmetic to see, like, oh, why are the Muppets here? They're kind of timeless. Alright, there's the stars done.
I would love to see Muppets take on Dune.
Oh! Who would you have as, Paul Atreides?
See, my favorite thing about the concept of Muppet movies, especially because of the Muppet Christmas Carol, is I really like the idea of having everyone stay, like, all the humans stay the same, but, like, maybe, like, one human stays the same and everyone is Muppet. So we still keep Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides, and then everyone else is just Muppets.
Ah, yes. Well, it's kind of like Tim Curry is the, what's his name, Long John Silver. And, and then, like, all the other Muppets are just Muppets, right? All the other characters are Muppets, I should say.
I think there was Jim Hawkins, but otherwise everyone else is Muppets.
Yeah, Jim Hawkins is a real person.
That was a good... Have you read a Treasure Island?
Oh, I love Treasure Island.
I had to read it in high school, and I really enjoyed it.
It's one of my favorite, like, classic literature stories.
It's good. It did a very good description at the time of, like, describing what it would be like to be a pirate going on this sort of island adventure sort of thing.
Well, what's great about it too is it's a story of like, you the mentor being the villain. Watch out for the one-legged pirate.
That's why
it's a great bait and switch that you kind of should know is coming, and then you kind of already know that he's the bad guy before like the reveal happens. But then when it happens, you're like, no, not John Silver.
And that's why I think Tim Curry did such an excellent job in the Muppet Treasure Island movie. Like, he does that role so well.
Oh yeah, he's tremendous. I mean, he's great in everything. There was an episode of Criminal Minds I watched a few months ago that he was in, like an old episode, and I was like, yeah, Tim Curry. Anytime Tim Curry shows up, it's always a good time.
Tim Curry is amazing, and I feel so sad because he had a stroke a few years ago. So these days he isn't looking too good about himself.
Yeah, he's mostly doing like voice acting.
He played Emperor Palpatine in Star Wars Clone Wars.
Did he really?
Yeah, I don't think he does. Like, he does a really good job, but I think he maybe does it a bit too Tim Curry evil. Whereas one thing I liked about like Ian McDiarmid is he just plays it so like he only comes out evil when he needs to be, but when he's just Palpatine, he's just like, oh, I'm just a poor old man. Nobody could suspect a thing from me.
Well, what's that line from episode 3? Oh, I'm too weak. I'm too weak, and then he pulls out the lightning.
Don't let him hurt me, Anakin. I'm too weak.
You still haven't seen Rise of Skywalker, have you?
I still haven't seen Rise of Skywalker because it's just at this point, and this is coming from someone who actually enjoyed The Last Jedi, and even for me, it's just kind of like The Rise of Skywalker. From everything I've heard from it, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a movie I enjoy.
We had an opportunity to see it in Japan, but you didn't want to see it.
Because I knew it was going to be a bad movie, so I'm like, okay, we've got so many hours in Japan. I'm not going to spend it watching that movie.
Yeah, life's too short to spend watching Star Wars. Okay, I think the last one is up here somewhere. Is it up here?
Get it?
I'm like right on top of it, apparently. There it is.
At least.
I got all the Christmas crackers. Okay. So, hold on, what's left? The Doozer and the Muppet. Okay. The Doozer should be fairly straightforward. By the way, isn't this like leveled like the perfect example of like how cozy this game is just to like play and talk over?
was kind of thinking that, yeah, because I've been watching this Let's Play sort of in the background as I drift off to sleep and all that kind of stuff, and it's just, I think I've talked about this. I've talked about like how we used to watch like Ratchet 5's Let's Play of this back in the day, and his Let's Play went on for a couple of years, a couple hundred parts, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I enjoyed about watching that Let's Play, for example, is it was just always there, this consistent point of comfort, and I feel the same with this Let's Play, because the game is just such a sort of comforting game.
Oh yeah, I mean it's the ultimate comfort game. It's the ultimate podcast game.
There's a lot going, like, the thing is, there's a lot of stimulation going on in terms of, like, there's a lot to do, but it's such sort of, it's both samey and not the same at the same time, that it kind of keeps the game sort of, there's sort of sense of rhythm that you go through as you play the game or watch the game, which just works. Like, it's like, oh, we're doing the vegetables, oh, we're doing the collectibles, oh, we're gonna get Doozer.
Yeah, we gotta push him off the thing. And his one, I actually do like the one in this level, but it's, again, not the easiest one. I would say there is like a difficulty scale in this game, like, crap, you don't want the penguins with Doozer, or Doozer, whatever you call it. Because the penguins you can only fire backwards, they're kind of like the TNT crates. Chickens are my personal favorite ones. But the good thing about this is it's ice, so he slides.
Oh, nice. That makes it so much easier. But that's what I like about this. Every track is different. Like, no Doozer is the same, but no Doozer is so different that it's like the worst thing ever.
That's right.
Just this sort of consistency of the game is, I think, what I like most about it. And even as I watch this, I'm tempted to see if I still have my old copy, so I can like play a bit of it.
Did I rescue him? I rescued Doozer. Okay, so that means that all that is left to do is unlock the Muppet in this level. And I need a good car to unlock him, because I think he's pretty hard. So there's a guy on the screen you can see in the bottom corner. So we've got to go rescue him.
I'll never like, one of my favorite things, I think my favorite line in A Muppet Christmas Carol is when Michael Caine, he goes back in time and he goes to Fozziwig's, like, fake mustache emporium or something. I can't remember.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, it's Fozziwig's fake mustache emporium or something like that. And he says that line with such seriousness and conviction, and he actually sells the line.
But it means so much to him that he's back in his own timeline. That was a terrible start. That was a god-awful start. I'm kind of worried about this. So this is Clifford. He's an interesting character because Clifford is actually a pretty recognizable Muppet, I would say. Because he's in this game. He's one of the characters in Muppet Monster Adventure, and like, you know, he's taken his place like among the stalwarts, the classic Muppet characters. But he was only introduced in like the 90s, I think, or the late 80s.
Was it like that Muppet TV show, Muppet Late Night or something?
Muppet Tonight, yeah, that's right.
Muppet Tonight, that's right.
I love that you know that. That's a cool bit of trivia.
But like Pepe as well was only introduced in that. When was Pepe introduced?
Yeah, he was a late addition too.
But he's also like one of the more like memorable ones. I think that bear in Muppets in Space was also kind of has come back a few times.
Bobo, yeah, no, I think he was in other stuff too, but I think his biggest role was in that. Because they did have like a bear character, but I don't think he was called Bobo until Muppets in Space. By the way, it should just be called Muppet in Space, because... Actually, no, it shouldn't, because none of the Muppets actually go into space in that film.
So, fun bit of trivia for A Christmas Carol is there was a musical song that was meant in the theatrical release of The Muppets Christmas Carol, and it was cut from the video home release because it was too sad and depressing. Oh. And it unfortunately, like, it kind of was included back, but they lost all the film for it, so it hasn't been in like more HD releases. But you can search it up on YouTube, and it's actually a really touching song, and it actually works really well for the movie. That it's almost depressing that they cut it in the first place.
Which is really interesting because when did the Muppet Christmas Carol was 80s, wasn't it? Or was it early 90s? I think Jim Henson had already died by that time.
Yeah, this is the first movie that was made by Jim Henson's son. Yeah,
without Jim Henson. Oh, and look at that, we just unlocked another Muppet character. It's Clifford.
Clifford.
Let's test drive.
Is he like a shrimp or something, or?
I think he's meant to be like an axolotl.
Axolotl. He does not look like an axolotl, but I still love him all the same. I love axolotls.
So he drives a trike, which is a very unique car, three-wheeled
Interesting.
car.
Is
it's
there
not
like
bad
an
actually? It's pretty good. Look at
game?
that. Was that Fraser? What'd you say?
Is there an ultimate best car in this game? I can't quite remember.
I think so. Just looking at the stats of that one, you've got 3 acceleration, 4 turning, and 3 top speed. So it's a pretty good car. My favorite car. I think Robin might have it. I think. Let me have a look. Yeah, there it is. The Supercharger. I think this is the undisputed best car in the game. Because it's got like the highest top speed, or the highest acceleration, very high top speed, and pretty good turning. This car's pretty good too, but the turning is pretty bad.
Nice.
But the thing with this game is, when it gives you a 1-star for the turning, it means that the turning arc is very large. It's hard to explain, but like, if I drive forward, right, and press left, see how long it takes to complete like a loop?
I see what you mean, and I kind of like that about the unique physics of the car.
See, look at this car. This car can do like very, very small turn.
I can see it. I don't know why. Maybe it's more irritating to play when you're playing the game, but I kind of like that.
Yeah, no, well, it's an interesting mechanic. But anyway, that's probably enough for this part. We just finished off. What was that level? Old London Town.
Nice.
So yeah, there we go. Let me just check the game status quickly. Yes, we have a star. Look at that, it's almost all stars all the way down. We only have 2 levels left to get stars in, which is Dock and Secret Base, and then Race A is done. So yeah, we'll see you next time in the Treasure Island level from Race League A, Dock. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Thank you for being here, Fraser.
I'm glad to be here.
And
I'm keen to see everyone in the next part.
Thanks very much. Thanks. See you then, guys. Farewell for now, but not forever.